This is the catch. But why is it considered to be one of the most iconic photos of all time? Let's take a look. It was January 10th, 1982, a brisk afternoon. The San Francisco 49ers were set to face the Dallas Cowboys in the 1981 NFC Championship game. With 58 seconds left, the 49ers faced 3rd and 3 on the Cowboys 6. Dwight Clark made a leaping catch in the back of the end zone, giving the 49ers the lead and eventual victory. The catch was a culmination of a 14-play, 83-yard game-winning drive orchestrated by the maestro Joe Cool. But let's rewind a bit to understand the significance of this catch and the 49ers victory. So there is the historical significance of this catch, but I also came across this interesting blog post when researching for this video. It's a reason you may not have considered as to why this photo continues to turn heads. They apply 3 principles to this photo. The golden ratio, which is a special number that is often found in nature, art and architecture because it looks pleasing to our eyes. Then the rule of thirds, which is a guideline in photography and art that suggests dividing an image into 9 equal parts with 2 horizontal and 2 vertical lines, then placing the important elements along these lines or the intersections to make the image more interesting and balanced. And then perspective, which makes flat images look like they have depth, similar to how you see things in real life. So how do these apply to the photo? Well, without giving an art lesson, the photo aligns with each of the described principles in the following way. For the golden ratio, it appears in the photo through the arrangement of players and the background elements, creating a natural balance and harmony that's just aesthetically pleasing. And the ratio guides your eyes through the photo, emphasizing the catch. For the rule of thirds, it's found in elements like Clark, the football, and the defenders, that all align along the grid lines or at the intersections. And then for perspective, it's created by the lines of the field and the positioning of the players, and again it leads your eyes to the point of the catch. The people who wrote this went into great depth, so if you're interested, I've linked it below. But it is interesting that there's this artistic component to the photo. It was in the moment and it wasn't staged, but it just happened to turn out this way. Ironically, the man who took the photo, Walter Yost Jr., was rooting for the Cowboys. In 1981, he spent the season with the Cowboys and got to know the players pretty well. His assignment was a season in the life photo essay covering America's team by Sports Illustrated. He felt, he said, like he was part of the team. He had formed a bond with these players. One even asked him to, quote, take a picture of me getting a needle in my shoulder because I want to give it to my son to make sure he never plays football again. When the 49ers scored, he was heartbroken, but the picture would become one of, if not the most iconic NFL photos ever taken. But the game was a battle from the start, and it is more than just the catch. On San Francisco's first drive, Montana connected with Charles Young on a 17-yard pass and Lenville Elliott on a 24-yard pass. The drive was sealed off with an 8-yard touchdown pass to Freddie Solomon. Dallas then responded with a drive of their own, and that ended in a 44-yard field goal. Then Bill Ring, 49ers running back, fumbled at their 29. The Cowboys were able to capitalize on that position and took a 10-7 lead. In the second quarter, the 49ers were at the Cowboys' 27-yard line, and Montana threw an interception into the end zone. The 49ers defense stepped up and forced a punt, and then Montana got the ball back and made sure to capitalize. He completed a 20-yard touchdown pass to Clark, putting them up 14-10. Dallas would respond though with an 80-yard drive, and during this drive there was a controversial pass interference call on Ronnie Lott, which negated an interception and instead put the Cowboys at the 49ers' 12-yard line. The Cowboys would then ice the drive with a 5-yard rushing touchdown by Tony Dorsett, giving them a 17-14 lead. In the third quarter, San Francisco were at the Dallas 16-yard line, but Montana threw a pass that bounced out of Elliott's hands and was intercepted. Lucky for the 49ers again, Danny White would throw an interception himself shortly after. The 49ers would convert the turnover into points, and they got a 2-yard rushing touchdown, making it 27-17. In the fourth quarter, the Cowboys would get a field goal and narrowed the score to 21-20. Then a fumble by the 49ers gave the Cowboys the ball, and it led to a 21-yard touchdown pass, giving Dallas a 27-21 lead. And Dallas put their foot on the gas as they intercepted Montana again on the next drive, but the defense was clutch and they forced a punt. The 49ers now had the ball at their 11 with 4 minutes and 54 seconds remaining. It started with an incomplete pass to Lenville Elliott. It was then 3rd and 4 after a 6-yard run, a first down with a Montana completion to Freddie Solomon, 2 handoffs for Elliott for an 11 and 7-yard gain, an offside penalty against the Cowboys reset the downs, and Montana completed a 5-yard pass to Earl Cooper before the 2-minute warning. Out of the 2-minute warning, Montana threw a 14-yard pass to get the ball over midfield. then 2 quick passes to Clark and Solomon, and the 49ers called a timeout with the ball on the Dallas 12. Montana would then miss Solomon on his next attempt. A 6-yard run made it 3rd and 4 at the 6. On the next play, Dwight Clark was lined up wide to the right. The play was called sprint right option. It called for a quick pass to Solomon, who had already scored the first touchdown using this play. Montana would run to the right and throw to Solomon. Clark would then get in the way of Solomon's defender and after run his route into the end zone. If Solomon was covered, Montana could run it himself. The final option was for Clark to cut into the end zone, and Montana would either throw it high, out of reach of a defender, or just throw it away. On the play though, Solomon slipped and it messed everything up. The Dallas pass rush would also collapse the pocket, and as Montana was being chased down, he double clutched and then threw a high pass to the back of the end zone off 1 foot. It was high enough to be out of reach for the all-pro cornerback, Everson Walls, but placed just right for the 6'4" Clark. Dwight Clark would pull the ball in for one of the most iconic plays in NFL history to tie the game with 51 seconds left. Some claim Montana was throwing the ball away. He had this to say: "I thought of throwing it away. I cocked my arm to do that when I saw Dwight covered. I don't want to take a loss in that situation, but just then I saw Dwight getting away from the coverage." After the catch, Cowboy Ed Jones said, "You just beat America's team." And Joe Cool said, "Well, you can sit at home with the rest of America and watch the Super Bowl." The extra point put them up 28-27, but Dallas still had 51 seconds. And this was a game riddled with mistakes for the 49ers. Montana threw 3 interceptions, and the Niners fumbled 3 times. Ronnie Lott was called for 2 pass interference calls that added up to 10 points for Dallas, but they managed to hang on. On first down, White connected with receiver Drew Pearson, and it looked like Pearson had a clean path to the end zone. But then Eric Wright managed to grab him for a horse collar tackle, and Montana would actually say that was as important a play as the catch. On the next play, White would be sacked and fumble the ball, which would be recovered by the 49ers, ending the game. It was a pivotal moment for both the 49ers and the Cowboys. It saw the two teams go in opposite directions for the better part of 10 years. Most of the 1970s was spent losing for the 49ers. They did win NFC West titles from 1970 to 1972, but the rest of the decade would not be as prosperous. The 49ers' first season under Walsh, and Montana's rookie year, they finished 2-14. In 1980, the record improved to 6-10, but expectations weren't going to be very high going into the 1981 season. After the catch, the 49ers went on to win the Super Bowl against the Bengals. A dynasty would be born, and they would make 8 out of the next 10 playoffs and win 3 more Super Bowls in the 1980s. On the other hand, the Cowboys had a lost decade. They were one of the top teams in the 70s, with 5 Super Bowl appearances and 2 wins, but they would not return to the Super Bowl once during the 80s. The Cowboys made the playoffs in 1983 and 1985, but lost in their first game on both occasions. After 1985, they would not get back to the playoffs till the 90s, and would even suffer losing seasons from 1986 till the end of the decade. However, the 90s would see a revival of the Cowboys and the rivalry against the 49ers. And that is the iconic catch and history behind it. Alright, thanks for watching.